Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I got this cute little mold that has 9 spaces for hearts in it, and I want to try something different. It's something very similar to what I seen in a previous video that Nadia from Leah Designs had done, but this is slightly different. In hers, she used acetate paper, I think it was, or acetate sheets. I want to try this using laminating sheets that have that adhesive on it. It's the self-laminating ones. It's one that you don't need like the actual heat for. And see if I can do something very similar. And I want to try it 3 different ways. So my plan is I'm going to very poorly trace these hearts. And then I want to cut it out. And I want to do them using regular normal washi tape, like this, the really thin ones. And then I want to use the washi tape stickers, and I want to try some temporary tattoos. So I'm going to do 3 of each and just kind of see how they turn out. Now, I would use acetate paper, except for the stuff that I bought is way too thick. I bought it so that I can use it as like a mold housing for silicone to make some molds with, and not for this. So this is kind of like the thinnest clear stuff that I have. I don't know how much of a problem it's going to pose, since I will be putting it in backwards so that you can actually see the images and the stuff that I'm putting down, and the sticky side is going to be up. So I don't know how it's going to turn out, but we're going to chance it. We're going to see, because if you don't try, you don't know. Now, what I'm doing is, like I said, I poorly traced these hearts out because it was quite difficult to do it backwards and make it so that it would fit inside. And yeah, it was a whole thing. But after I finally got that, now I'm going to take 3 different normal washi tapes. And again, these are the thinner ones, and kind of put it on over top of where the hearts are going to be, and kind of see how we get on with it. Now, this one right here, I fooled with for quite a bit. I was trying to get those lines to match up, and then eventually I just gave up because it wasn't working right, and I didn't want to waste my whole roll of washi tape trying to figure it out. So I just said screw it, and it's just going to go on how it goes on, and we'll hope for the best. Now, out of all of these, the washi tape is the one that, if I was to predict how they were going to turn out, I think I'm going to have issues with this one. Like, I don't know why, but I just feel like it. I don't know. I don't feel like this is going to be the best one to turn out. The temporary tattoos, I feel like, will be really good. The stickers, the actual like washi tape stickers, I feel like are going to be good. This one, I don't know about. So all I'm doing right now is just very simply, I mean, you can see it, it's not rocket science. I'm just putting it on and making sure that I'm covering the poorly drawn heart on the back, so that when I cut it out later to put it into the resin, I have a basic idea of size and shape. It's not going to be perfect, clearly, because if you saw how piss poor I drew those on there, you'll know it's just, yeah, no. So now onto the washi stickers. And for this, I'm just kind of cutting around the roses that I want to kind of have in there. I want to make it so that, I'm not going to waste these. They're not, I mean, they're not overly expensive, but they're not cheap either. And I just kind of want to fit it in and cut it as close to the actual image as possible, so that I don't have, an exuberant amount of just clear stuff going off. Now, again, I have issues with getting these things apart. Like, I don't know, but it is just not something that I can get off very easily. I don't know why. I have the worst time trying to get the back away from the front of this. But eventually, I get it, 14 and a half years later, and here we go, putting it on. The great thing about these stickers is you get so many different variations in the rolls that you can use in so many different ways. And even though, like, especially on the red rose right here, which is just absolutely stunning, like, I didn't use all the parts for it, but I can cut them off and save them and use them later for something and not waste anything. I really truly love these stickers. Like, they are fantastic. They're super beautiful, and you can just cut them down however you want to use it, and they're just great. So that's all I'm doing. Put this one on here, do the last one, and then we're gonna fool around with these tattoos. I got it a lot quicker this time. Like, I'm really proud of myself. You guys should be too. um, yeah. Anyway, so we're gonna put them on here, and then I've got one other washi sticker that I want to use. That's another pretty pink rose. And I think these hearts, I'm not gonna show you today what I'm gonna do with them, because today is more about what will work, if any of them will work, between the three different kinds and getting your image on there, especially in these cute little heart molds where, this one, I mean, you could use it backwards, but it's not going to have that really nice dome that it will have if you use it the right way. So this is more about getting an image on there and different ways that we can do it and which way works better. And if there's any difference between the three different types of pictures that I'm putting on here, so that you kind of get an idea of what works, what doesn't work, you know, what to do, what not to do, all of that good stuff. But these heart molds are really, really cute. Like, I like them a lot. I think that they have endless possibilities to them. I mean, you can do the pocket hugs and stuff that seems so popular right now, or you can do what I'm going to do with them in some upcoming videos that you'll have to stick around and see. But, you know, it's all about just being creative and not conforming to what everybody else is doing. Do your own thing. Make up your own thing. Like, there's no rhyme or reason. You don't have to do something just because everybody else is doing it. Step out of that box and let your creative juices flow, you know? Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't want to be like everybody else. I want to, learn from them, take from them what I can get from them, and then take it a step farther. Okay, now on to the tattoos. Took off the protective plastic part, and of course I go to put it on there, and I screwed up right from the start. I didn't realize that it would, like, bond immediately to this plastic, and it did, and it ended up, like, pulling some of the tattoo right off, which is unfortunate because, of course, of all the tattoos that I'm using, that was the one that I liked the most. So go figure. Anyway, so I put it on, put the water on. I'm letting that sit while I put on this next one and just kind of making sure that it's inside that heart shape so that I don't cut off any parts that I shouldn't. And I don't know if you guys can tell because it's really hard for me as I'm editing this to see where I messed up. I am trying to get it off. It, of course, doesn't want to come off. So we're just going to kind of cut it around that area later on, which I don't know if that's going to affect the complete, like, the total outcome of the piece, because I'm going to have to cut into that laminating paper or not. I guess we'll find out. And then time for this last one, and then we can finally be done with this part. So again, I'm just cutting it out really, really close to the image itself, taking off that paper, stick it on, put some water on, let it set, and get this off. And then we will start cutting these out and seeing how it's gonna go, especially since my lines are not that great, and I wasn't anticipating about the fact that when I was gonna have to cut it out, like, it was a lot harder than I thought, you know, because my lines suck. But it's okay. It's all right. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. I just need to get it in there because we are going to put a backing on here that's going to hopefully hide it. And I'm going to do colors that are, you know, very, very close to the main colors of these so that you're going to see some of that background anyway. So this way it doesn't look like horrible. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to go and put a black backing on it and then it just look gross. I'm going to put something on that's very, very similar. So just cutting them out as best I can with the horrible lines that I did and shaping it up, you know, how I can shape it. And then we're just going to move on from there. Now, I am super excited to see how this is going to turn out. Like, I really, truly am. Right now, just there is still a little bit wet, so I just wanted to wipe off any excess water that's on there, make sure it's really, really dry, and we're done. Now it's time for our resin. So, using the NicPro resin today, and I'm just going to put just a little bit in here. Like, I realize looking back, it looks like there's way more in here than there really is, but I need it to cover the bottom. Like, I need it to go up to at least where the edges of the laminating paper are going to be so that it stays in there and it cures nicely, and then I can just put my background on later on after it's done. So I just want to make sure that, you know, I don't have too much in there because I do need to make the background opaque. Like, it needs to be opaque, so there needs to be enough resin going in there that I'm not going to have an issue. Just adding a little bit more where I need some in a couple of these, and then we're going to hit it with the heat gun, pop any bubbles that are in there so I don't have any issues. Thin out the resin a little bit because it's kind of cold in my house, so, you know, it's super, super thick right now. And I realized then that my mold is like not level. Like, it's not my table. My table's level, but my mold wasn't. So I had to prop it up with some popsicle sticks. Took off the backing of the laminating paper and just carefully, carefully laying in each heart so that there's no air bubbles that are going to get trapped underneath. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I'm just kind of like pushing it in right now because I want it all covered. I want it to dry in this clear layer of resin so I don't have any issues. Hopefully. But yeah, just put it down kind of slow. Just kind of let the resin take it so that it'll reduce those. Like, I've got this sped up for you so this video isn't like 100 years long, but you want to do it slowly, and I was doing it really slowly, just kind of letting the resin just kind of just take it. Do you know? Because if I would have done it fast, then I'd have more apt for air bubbles to get trapped under there, and that is not what I want at all. So we have the ones that have just strictly the small skinny washi tape in. Now it's time to do the temporary tattoos. Now, the one that I just did was probably the easiest of them. This one wasn't too bad either. It's this next one that I messed up when I was applying it. So I did cut it kind of stupidly to cut that part out. So it's trying to make sure that it's even and it makes sense and it's in the right position with that. And then on to our washi stickers, just popping them in real quick. We're going to let this sit and cure and hope that it works out. Fingers crossed, because I think they are going to be really cool if they do. All right, so here we are 24 hours later, and this is what happened. All of that laminating paper curled up for I don't know what reason, just to make my life a little bit more difficult. And of course, the one that I thought I was going to have the issues with, the normal washi tape, is the only one that I didn't have a problem with at all. Like, it stayed in there perfectly. It didn't curl up. It didn't do anything stupid like all the other ones did. So I don't know. I don't know. The temporary tattoo ones, honestly, were the worst. The one that I'm cutting it off now is that one that I had to cut all stupid. And that was probably the worst out of all of them. I don't know. I don't know why it did this. I really don't. If it was something with the heat that, the resin produces during its curing time, if that made it curl, or I don't know. I don't know because the washi tape didn't do it. The stickers really didn't do it that horribly. I mean, they did, two of them did kind of. So I don't know if it's the amount of like maybe with the washi tape because I put it over the whole thing and it made it sturdier and a little bit thicker, if that's why it didn't curl. I don't know. May have to try it again just to see if it's something I did wrong or what. All right, so for the back layer, now I'm going to do some of these in white and I'm just using my white mica powder. And then I want the rest of them to be pink, but I want it to be a super, super pale pink. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to put the white in first and hope that I cut it down enough, all the pieces that curled up, that I can get the white to cover it. I have a feeling not so much, that some of it I think is going to stick up. I don't think I'm going to be able to dome it enough to get it to completely cover all those areas. And I had to be super careful when I was cutting it because I don't want to cut my mold. This is the first time I've ever used this mold and I'm not trying to ruin it as soon as I get it, you know? But I'm just going over here and very, very carefully, very slowly adding more resin. Again, you can see on the one that I was just working on that right hand bottom part of it, where it's coming up over top of where the resin's going to be. And that's just going to be the way it is. Now, later on, I could potentially sand it and get it down and maybe do a coat on the back, but I'm not going to do that. I can tell you right now, I'm not going to do that. And yeah, I mean, I have other ideas with these that it's not going to necessarily make a difference depending on them, but we'll see what they look like when I demold them to see if they're even usable, because now that they've like bowed and whatnot and curled up, I don't even know if they're going to look good when I demold them. Like, I have no idea. All right, on to the pink. So I'm just going to use this white that I have, and I'm just going to add the teeniest, tiniest little bit of mica powder in this just to get the palest of pale pinks to add to the back. And then we're just going to add it to the last of these, and that's it. Wait for them to cure and see how it goes. So I'm just going to finish topping these off real quick, smoothing them out around all the edges, trying to get over any bumps that are still in there from the layer below, and that's it. Fingers crossed that when I demold these, I will have at least some usable pieces. I really, really hope, because I think that this has potential to be able to do some really, really cool things with, but I don't know. Okay, 24 hours later, now's the moment of truth. Can I use any of these? And you can see from the back already on some of them where I couldn't get down low enough when I was cutting it, that I've got not a smooth surface on the back, or maybe it's smooth, but you can see because I couldn't put a lot of resin on there. It's not a perfect finish on the back for all of these. Okay, the washi tape ones. All right, so this is definitely nice. I like it. It turned out good. That pink is perfect for the pink that's in the washi tape, so it's a great, great match. This one worked out too. Super happy with this one. So far, so good. But again, these were the ones that turned out okay. And here's the third one. It's cute. Like, I don't know how I feel about the washi tape part, but I don't know. All right, first temporary tattoo, and you can see it's curled up. You can tell the curl in it, so that's kind of disappointing. This one, you can see it. It's not quite as bad as the last one, and this one is just crap. Just complete crap. Like, there's so many, just, it's gross. It's unfortunate, because that was the one that I liked the most. All right, so the washi stickers. You can see the edges curled up a little bit. It's not as bad as the tattoos. Oh, this one is gorgeous. That's my favorite. This one isn't bad either. Okay, so I mean, we've got mixed. Like, the temporary tattoos were definitely the worst. That one with that I have in my hands now, a little bit of curl up. It may still be usable depending on what I'm going to do with it. So out of the 9, I've got 5 good ones. So that's a wrap on this one. Stay tuned for Monday's video where I will be showing you what I'm going to do with the red rose one. And on that, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. I will see you guys on Monday for the next one. Love ya. Bye.